While building a new high-rise attracts a lot of attention, demolitions can be much more spectacular, especially in large, densely built-up cities. So let's take a look at the tallest demolitions in the world. Number 8. Ocean Tower. Our first tower was located on South Padre Island in Texas, close to SpaceX's new Starship facility. It was tall for 115 meters, or just over 375 feet, before falling in 2009. The building was supposed to include luxury condominiums with a swimming pool, a gym, and even a spa room for residents to enjoy. But after 2 years of construction, the builders noticed cracks forming in the Ocean Tower's support columns. It turned out that the tower's base had sunk down by almost 16 inches. The skyscraper officially earned the nickname, the Leaning Tower of South Padre. Although the construction team hoped they could fix it, the damage was already done. After engineers analyzed the problem, they announced that the renovation work would be too expensive and uneconomical. In December of 2009, a company known as Controlled Demolition Inc. performed a controlled implosion of the building. The $75 million building was the largest concrete structure ever imploded at the time. The park next to the Ocean Tower was closed for the day to ensure the safety of the residents of the island. Still, spectators could watch the skyscraper crumble in nearby hotels and restaurants. Number 7. Landmark Tower. Also in Texas was the Landmark Tower, a 380-foot, or about 116 meters, a tall tower in Fort Worth. When the building first opened to the public in 1957, it was the highest skyscraper in the city. It also had the world's most giant revolving digital clock at the top of the building. The skyscraper was originally fully occupied, but it was abandoned entirely after 30 years at the end of its lifetime. Once it was hit by a tornado in March of 2000 and suffered significant damage, it was decided that the building should be demolished. In 2006, the Midwest Wrecking Company evacuated 15 blocks of the city to perform the implosion. With the help of just over 360 pounds of explosives, it took only a couple of minutes for the Landmark Tower to come tumbling down. The site was revisited in 2016 to build a new parking garage in the area. Number 6. AfE Tower. At 116 meters tall, or 382 feet, the building was the tallest tower ever demolished in Europe. The AfE Tower was a part of the campus of the Goethe University in Frankfurt in Germany. Initially, they wanted to dismantle it piece by piece, but after numerous complaints from residents about the lengthy process, they decided to demolish the building with explosives. Their new plans gained much attention in the media, and over 30,000 people who watched the implosion lived on site in 2014. With a loud bang, the concrete skeleton around the building core was brought down first. A few seconds later, the building core was separated by 2 blasts on the 5th and 17th floors. One part fell to the south and the other part to the north. After the property stood vacant for a few years, a modern residential and hotel tower known as 140 West was built to the regret of the Goethe University students. The new building has luxury apartments on the top floors and hotel rooms below them. Number 5. Building in Xi'an City. In November of 2015, 118 meters, or just over 387 feet, the building known as the Golden Flower Building was demolished in Xi'an City, China. It was the tallest skyscraper to ever be demolished in the nation. The high-rise building was originally built in 1996 but had not been used for decades even though it was legally the property of Jinhua Pharmaceutical Factory. It seemed too expensive to remodel the tower, so China ultimately decided to hire the and get rid of it. The company started by digging a 13-foot deep trench around the perimeter to reduce the explosion's impact. The building crashed into pieces with the help of 1.4 tons of dynamite and 12,000 detonators. While the demolition was quick, cleaning up the 66-foot high piles of debris took over 70 days. Once the area was cleared, the construction of a new commercial complex immediately began with stores and residential spaces. Number 4. J.L. Hudson's department store. Built all the way back in 1911, the J.L. Hudson's department store in Detroit, Michigan, had one of the wildest demolitions of all time. The building featured everything from retail stores to office space. When the 134-meter or 440 feet tall store opened to the public, it was the tallest department store in the world. After over 80 years of operation, J.L. Hudson's department store was demolished in 1998. 20,000 people watched the implosion. The blast was so strong that it broke the windows of retail stores nearby that had already been abandoned. It even accidentally damaged the Detroit People Mover, an elevated train in the city. Since then, the construction of a 912-foot or 278 meters tall skyscraper started in the area and will probably open in 2022. Number 3. Brayton Point Power Station. Although this next one is not technically a building, the demolition of the Brayton Point Power Station was epic. The coal power facility in Somerset, Massachusetts, first opened in the 1960s and operated until May 2017. Years after the plant closed, the company that owned the facility decided to demolish two of the plant's cooling towers in 2019. The explosion set a world record for the tallest cooling towers to be blown up, with each building standing at 500 feet or about 152 meters. That makes these towers only a couple of feet taller than the cooling tower at the Trojan. Nuclear power plant was the first cooling tower to ever be demolished in 2006. People from all over New England traveled to the Brayton Point Power Station to see the demolition. Over the next few months, the crew demolished different power station parts. All the scrap metal created a series of fires days after these implosions, which added to the craziness of the demolitions. Number 2. Meena Plaza. Construction of this tower was never completed, but the Meena Plaza still earned the title of the tallest building to be demolished. The plaza included 4 separate towers standing at 165 meters, or 541 feet, in the air. Developers began building the Meena Plaza in 2007 but stopped just a few years later, in 2012, due to a dispute with the owners. Although they planned to continue construction in 2014, the building was abandoned because of financing issues. In 2020, the government in the capital decided to demolish the building's 2020. Not only was it considered an eyesore, but the demolition was part of a bigger plan to redevelop the port of Meena Zayed. The team in charge of demolishing the Meena Plaza wanted to ensure no one in the United Arab Emirates' capital of Abu Dhabi would be harmed by the implosion. They analyzed the building and surrounding areas to have the safest demolition possible. By using 13,000 pounds of plastic explosives, the towers tumbled to the ground. 3 of the buildings imploded first, but after 10 seconds, all 4 were turned into giant piles of rubble. Number 1. Power Station Westerholt. Meena Plaza would be our number 1, but we didn't want to withhold this final demolition from you. Standing at 337 meters, or 1,105 feet, the chimney of the power station Westerholt was the tallest controlled structure to ever be demolished. There are a lot of mega-tall chimney demolitions that are even taller than the previous 165-meter-high Meena Plaza, but Westerholt was the highest. The chimney was built in 1981 in Germany. When the power station was decommissioned in 2005, the chimney met its unfortunate fate a year later. The structure was blown up at 2 different levels, with one explosion towards the bottom and one in the middle. So many showed up to record the blast and take pictures that it actually delayed the team from being able to demolish the building on time. Soon, the chimney was nothing more than a giant mound of debris. Which of these demolitions was your favorite? Let us know in the comment section down below. If you haven't already, hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.